Vintage Sound 93.1 FM, Tony Tone Show, and this is very exciting. Joining me on the MPW Digital TV Celebrity Hotline is a guy that we talked to around this time last year, and he's back because there's a new episode of Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge, Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central for us on CMT, and Steve Austin is right there. How you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm doing good. Just drinking coffee out here on the West Coast in Los Angeles and hanging out with my dogs.
So, Steve, it's like 23 degrees here. I assume it's a little bit warmer out there.
Probably right now it's about 58 degrees outside. The weather out here has been outstanding. So, yes, obviously a little bit warmer over here. I feel for you.
Oh, man, there's like a potential snowstorm coming in next week and whatever, and people are freaking out. And it's like, Steve, if we, majority of us have lived in the Midwest long enough, we're used to it by now, but it's amazing how people just panic, Man,
I tell you what, my body doesn't work too well in cold weather. I'd rather be extremely hot than extremely cold. But then again, when you say extreme, something in the middle is better than either one of those.
I agree 100%. So we got to talk about Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge. It's such a blast to watch, and I don't want to assume, Steve, but it seems like you have a great time hosting this thing and putting it together, right?
Oh, man, yeah. I came up with the idea, and we pitched it to CMT, and, they fell in love with it. And so, here we are in season 3, I guess, and we filmed 18 episodes this year. And we filmed at about 50 miles from my house out here in Los Angeles. And to beat the drive, I live out on location 5 days a week. And I've got a Kawasaki mule that I ride around on after work. I've got my gym out there. I go home on the weekends. I love that show so much, but it's almost like a paid vacation. We work our asses off during the day, and we put those competitors through the ringer. And I tell you what, the guys and gals on this season, we've only got a couple episodes in, but if you just keep watching, everything starts escalating and building to a climax. I got to take my hat off to all the contestants who came out this year. The men and the women are studying what they need to do to get through the brackets and studying what they need to do to beat the Skullbuster. So if you've enjoyed what you've seen so far, just stay tuned, and I'll leave it at that. But yes, I have an absolute blast on that show, hanging out with the best athletes in America.
They're in such good shape, and then all of a sudden, here comes this thing called the Skullbuster, and I'll just put it this way, Steve. There's no way I'm ever attempting the Skullbuster. It's just not gonna...
People ask me all the time and say, hey, man, do you run the Skullbuster? I say, no, I helped create it. I don't have to take it on. I host the show. I've already beat up my body. Right now, I'm on a strength training phase right now, and I think that Skullbuster right now would chew me up and spit me out. And it does many of the competitors, and these are some of the greatest athletes in the United States right now, drawn from CrossFit, Spartan, Tough Mudder. We've had some national champ amateur wrestlers come in, some MMA fighters, so all different kinds of backgrounds. We've got a lot of obstacle course runners coming through this year. So the athletes are off the charts, and I'll tell you what, even the best athletes, sometimes certain parts of that course, whether it's a nutcracker or the rope burn or whatever, are just decimated because, hey, man, we throw 10 obstacles at them that are going to chip away at every part of their body. And I tell them that, and the proof is in the pudding. It works.
Yeah, no, it really does. A friend of mine and a fan of yours, his name is Damon. He wanted me to ask you a question. So is that okay to do that, Steve?
Sure.
So Damon says, ask Steve what pro wrestling colleague of his could, at their peak, finish the Skullbuster the fastest. Who do you think?
Man, I think that's a great question. I think, back in, I know him from his Lucha Underground name now, Johnny Mundo. And I think if he was turned loose on the course with this parkour background, and he's about the right height and weight, if you get too heavy, you'll run out of gas. But I think Johnny Mundo, which is, I'll call him Matt because that's his Lucha Underground name, I think he would be pretty good on the course. And another guy, maybe Seth Rollins, if he's got a deep enough gas tank, but that guy's an incredible athlete. He's coming back from a knee injury, I believe, right now. But those two guys jump off the page to me right now.
Yeah, you know what, Steven? Seth is from right down the road, Davenport. Well, yeah, right here. I mean, he's a hometown boy for us. So we're really hoping that he can he can get healthy. And yeah, that Skullbuster's tough. I want to pay you a compliment, Steve, because and I hope you get complimented enough about this, but if not, your podcast, The Steve Austin Show, is fantastic. And I've been doing radio for about 9.5 years, and I kind of got on board when you started this thing, and you do a great job, buddy.
Man, I appreciate that. Man, I have a lot of fun with that thing, and it really kind of started off as a hobby, and it still is, but now it's a business tool for me, and I'm able to promote my products. I have a lot of fun with it. I'm not a trained professional, but it's just me and my microphone, and sometimes I have guests on, sometimes I don't. But, man, I appreciate the fact that someone like you listens to the show because, again, man, compared to what you guys do, I'm rough at best.
No, you're great. And I think, you know, for me, Steve, I found that being able to do morning radio, it's kind of therapeutic in a way because you get to kind of put a show together, and at this radio station, I get to kind of play what I want and say what I want, so there's not a lot of corporate control, so it's really nice. And I wonder, for you, do you get that feeling like you look forward to doing it because it's such a change of pace, right?
Well, yeah, sometimes it is, but sometimes when I get busy with the shows like Broken Skull or Redneck, then it's a real hassle to get the 2 episodes in because I'm so busy doing all the other prep work. And I'm making all my meals, I'm going to the gym, fulfilling other obligations, so sometimes I run into a time crunch. But what I really want to do is try to, in my little office here, man, I just got a table with a neon clock on it. I want to try to create a little bit more of a studio environment to feel like, you know, I'm kind of in that same groove where you're talking about.
Yep.
And create just a little bit more atmosphere for myself. So that's my next project with respect to trying to upgrade the podcast just to create a little bit more atmosphere to explore the space, as Will Ferrell would say with the cowbell.
Any plans to do any more movies, Steve? Any of those on the way?
You know what? I've turned down so many offers as of late, and a lot of it's independent movies. I tell you, to be quite frank with you, I just don't like memorizing dialogue and going through the paces, you know, one take after another with the shows that I do. Broken Skull, man, I know the rules to the challenges. Same with Redneck. I know the rules, and then the rest is a free-for-all, and I'm interacting with human beings. And then my podcast is 2 days a week, so that's 104 days of work right there. Then by the time I go down to South Texas and hunt deer for two months every single year at the end of the year, man, I've got a pretty full year, and do a podcast for WWE and fly somewhere. I just, after being on the road for so many years, I still want to work, and I want to work my ass off, but not too much. And I enjoy being around people, but those movie sets, I got 100 people on Broken Skull Challenge standing around doing their jobs, moving cameras and stuff like that. But I really enjoy doing what I'm doing right now and not having to go take for take. And when I try to memorize dialogue, it's like I'd rather scrape my face on a barbed wire because that's how painful it is to me.
I know. I'm not good with it either. I do better off the cuff. Redneck Island just came back, last night, Thursday. Very exciting, 9 o'clock Central for us. And I know that people are looking forward to watching again this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central for us with the Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge. I really like talking to you, buddy. I think that you're in a good place. You're super busy, and you're getting to do what you love, which is have people push themselves to their limits, and you're a good support system at the same time. So my hat's off to you, brother. You're busy.
Hey, man, well, thank you very much. And to the athletes who come out to the Broken Skull, man, I'm just there to coach them up and to motivate them. And I set the stage for these guys to come out there and the gals to be superstars and to show, how hard they've been training. And with respect to Redneck Island, hey, man, these kids come out for fun and they raise hell, and it's a whole different type of show. And the accents, it's fun hanging out with a bunch of kids, a bunch of athletes on one show and a bunch of great kids on another show. So, man, it's a win-win for me, and I'm happy to be in business with CMT with 2 badass shows on their network.
Steve, I hate to admit this as the last part of the interview, but you say you go deer hunting that long. I've never been in my whole life, and I live in the state of Iowa. What's wrong with me?
Hey, man, I know y'all got some good deer hunting down there, too.
Right.
But here's the thing. When I go down there, because I don't get down to my ranch enough times during the year, me and my buddy Ted, who helps me take care of the place, I got 2,000 acres down there. It rains so much. I work harder. We try to get on the tractor, and we mow that entire place. Well, it's brush country. We're not mowing it like a golf course, but just the maintenance on it, and then doing all the hunting and taking the deer that we have to take, and then doing the 2 podcasts, and then working out. I'm telling you, I work harder at the Broken Skull Ranch when I'm off than I do when I'm working these other gigs. So, nonetheless, don't be so hard on yourself. You'll get out there one of these days.
Oh, I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for the time. Have a great weekend. And could I get a hell yeah?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, indeed. Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge, Sunday night, 7 o'clock Central for us on CMT. You're the best, buddy. Take care. I appreciate it.
Man, thank you. Have a good day.
Talk to you soon. Bye.